over here at HTM Sports. How is everybody doing this fine evening, man? So, hey, I just want to take the time out to thank y'all for y'all love and support. We've been growing the platform, moving on up, doing bigger and better things, improving the sound quality and everything. So, everybody that been donating, your money is going to good use. We are improving all aspects of this show thanks to y'all. So, hey, we're gonna get in here. We're gonna talk some good Dallas Cowboy football, man. And I was telling landlord earlier, man, that I love being a Dallas Cowboys content creator because they always give us some good stuff to talk about, man. I was just chilling at work, minding my own business, and Jerry Jones, a big picture of Jerry Jones with this rumor popped up, right? Rumor that Dallas Cowboys are planning something big, right? So like, hey, and they know what they be doing, man. Jerry Jones is a good salesman. He's a good showman, and he know how to keep the Dallas Cowboys in the news cycle, in the media cycle, all those different things. So I don't know if there's any validity to these statements. I don't know if this is a valid rumor, but they say that they're guys like Mr. Gelkin, who I do follow, who I do use for some of these breaking news stories and things like that. Brian Broaddus, who I respect a lot. So there's some guys that they say are validating and backing this claim that there's something that the Dallas Cowboys are cooking up. But what is it? And, that's going to be the main topic of the show. I'm gonna pretty much talk about what I would like to see, what one of those moves being, a couple of those scenarios. I can get some of y'all input, and then we're gonna talk about Mike McCarthy's comments. And that's gonna. Hey, Neil Favre, what's up with you? I appreciate you for tapping in with me over here at HTM Sports. So yeah, man, we're gonna jump right into that. Jason Gear, what's up with you, man? Hey, I appreciate you for tapping in with me. Double R, what's up with you, Wrench Gang? I appreciate you for tapping in with me over here at HTM Sports, man. Hold on, let me put this up here. So, hey, right before we jump into it, man, I'm finna pin this at the top. So, anybody who heart is to donate, the donation right there at the top of the chat. If you cannot donate, that is fine. Hit the like button, hit the share button. If you have not subscribed yet, please do that. All that goes a long way in improving the channel. And I appreciate y'all for anything and everything that y'all do for me. So, hey, and we done talked about this a lot, really though. Like our wish list, these trades, things like that. When you hear that the Dallas Cowboys are concocting something big, right? To the point there's a rumor circulating about it. You obviously thinking about trade scenarios. So what I want to see, I don't actually care about them trading up in the draft. Like I will cover draft content because it's that time of year coming up. But I need grown men who have mortgages to pay, kids to feed, wives to keep happy. I need guys that are established that do things for a living, coming in and contributing in my offense and on my defense. Right? When you're trying to play championship level football, you do not have time for guys to be doing on job learning, trying to get adjusted to the league, trying to get over the learning curve, just to contribute. And some of the guys you draft, they may not have it in them to even be NFL caliber players. Like, we do get it wrong sometimes. For every Michael Parsons, there's a Taco Charlton, right? I want us to go out and get an established player, whether it be an established defensive tackle, whether it be an established wide receiver. Like, I need somebody that's been in the league for at least a couple of years that already knows how it's going. So, and look, sign free agents for necessities and draft for depth and development. I completely agree with that. I want to tackle, all our needs in free agency. Like, if we need a wide receiver, sign one in free agency. If we need a defensive tackle, sign one in free agency. If you think your offensive line needs an improvement, sign somebody in free agency. Right? Because these guys have years and years and years of tape of actually playing NFL caliber players. Right? For all the guys in the draft, you're projecting what they're going to do based on what they did against other college kids. Right? So, there are some guys, in the draft that seem like they're obvious choices and things like that. But, if anything, I would like the Dallas Cowboys to trade for a player. right? You don't even have to go crazy in free agency. Diggs really hates Buffalo from living in Minnesota to living in Buffalo, dude dying on the inside. And yeah, so that's one of the guys that we could target. Like one and listen, we talked about this on a different show with Landlord. Like it was really his idea to go out there and draft and trade for Jerry Judy. I would do something like that. If you have your heart set on drafting a wide receiver in the first or second round, why not just turn that pick into a guy who has talent and who has some production? Like you can say what you want about Jerry Judy not living up to his draft spot, right? He was a first round pick in the 2020 draft, just like CD Lamb. CD Lamb has far outperformed him, but Jerry Judy has been in a very bad situation. He has not had consistent quarterback play, right? He done played with multiple guys that aren't that good. And when he finally did get a company quarterback, Russell Wilson had the worst season of his career, right? So I would love to put somebody like Jerry Judy, on this team with CD Lamb, and kick Michael Gallup down to being your third wide receiver. Like moves like that make sense. If you're going to go out and spend assets anyway on an unproven player, you can go out and get somebody with some NFL chops already. He's played 3 years, right? He just had a 900-yard season last year, despite the bad quarterback play, despite the inconsistency of play calling. Because remember, their head coach was so bad as a play caller, he got fired his first year. He still was able to put up over 900 yards receiving. So, compare that to what Michael Gallup has given you the last 2 years. Like Michael Gallup has even given you 900 yards receiving in the last 2 years combined. He had 900 yards receiving just last year alone. So, I would definitely go out and take a flyer on somebody like that who has potential. He still has 2 years left on his deal. And, if they want a first round pick in this draft, since we're picking in pick 26 anyway, it's almost a second round pick as it is. So, I would do it. Off subject real quick, Henny. What's your thoughts on Jalen Carter's arrest and what's it due to his draft? Well, this is the thing. Like the way that they put it out there, it seems horrible. It seems like he ran somebody over and killed somebody, did this and that. But he's actually only facing a misdemeanor charge. Now, the optics of it is going to drop his draft stock. But if people like, and this is the thing with me, he's a young man that made a mistake. Somebody lost their lives, but it's not like he actually ran somebody over. Like they were racing. His friend who he was racing apparently crashed and he didn't make it. So it's not like he killed anybody or things like that. So I would still draft the boy because he has talent. He made one mistake. Just thank God it wasn't anything more serious where he actually could have killed himself or had an incident like what happened with the boy for the Raiders. So I would still draft him. I think it hurts his draft stock. Things like that usually do, especially with the timing of it. This is gonna be fresh on everybody's mind during the drafting process. But he's a supremely talented player. He is probably the best defensive tackle in the draft. Like there is legitimate, thought about him being the number one overall pick for the Chicago Bears. Like he's that good. So if other teams want to pass up on him, I don't want the Dallas Cowboys to be the team that also pass up on him. Hey, what's up with you, Hoodlum? I appreciate you tapping in with me, man. Because listen, man, like we have some guys who have some checker passes and they play on championship teams for us, right? You remember the little White House situation with Michael Irvin, right? We know about some of the other things that went on back in the day. Yeah, he won't see any jail time. I don't believe there is 2 misdemeanor charges, right? It's big news because he's a top NFL prospect, and because during the situation somebody lost their life, but it's not really his fault. They were both racing, right? And the other guy, I guess, lost control. I'm not sure about the complete details, but I would still draft the boy. He's too good not to draft. And this is the thing, man. I do not personally care. Yeah, everybody race. everybody race, man. And listen, I don't personally care about people's personal issues. Like, this is the only thing I think that's ever happened to Mr. Carter, right? Outside of this, outside of this instance, I don't think he's ever been in trouble with the law before. I think that he's from all accounts, he's a good kid, man. And when you're young, you make mistakes, right? I made plenty of mistakes in my life, man. Desmond Iron, man, what's up with you, man? I appreciate you tapping in. Like, I've done plenty of stuff, and look, I did stuff 10 times as worse as this. So with that said, man, hey, Dwayne Brown, what's up with you? Part of the wrench game tapping in with me, man. I thank you for showing up, man. So yeah, with that said, though, I will definitely draft the boy. He's too good of a prospect. If he falls to number 26, draft him. He will definitely be the best player available. Man, yeah, we're gonna talk about Mr. Mike McCarthy, Mr. Run the Damn Ball. After we go through a couple of these scenarios. Yeah, man. That, like I said, though, man. To segue back to that, though, like I love being a Dallas Cowboy content creator. Like all these other teams, man, you ain't heard a peep from them really. Dallas Cowboys all off in the news cycle, man. They all off in the news cycle. With these good sound bites. So yeah, so like that's definitely one of the moves I would make. I would, if it was to fall, I would draft him. And as for the big move, that we're speculating about, I would trade for one of these marquee players. I would trade for a Jerry Jeudy. Honestly, I would trade for DK Metcalf. Like if they're out on DK Metcalf, they want to do something different. That's a roster that could be in flux over there. He's a guy that probably is trying to legitimately challenge for a title. Like I would do it, man. Because listen, I don't need to have a super team for the next 10 years. That's not even how long my window is, right? I just need to have a good collection of talent for the next 3 or 4 seasons. Because you can go ahead and extend CD Lamb. Like his money this year is going to be his money this year. You won't feel the ramifications of an extension until, right? You won't see the ramifications of an extension until later on down the line, at least another 2 years, right? Because you still have this year in the contract. You still have the 5th-year option. Then the extension will kick in. So I definitely would go ahead and extend CD Lamb, bring in another somebody like DK Metcalf, or bring in somebody. They hate trading picks. Yeah, they do hate trading picks, man. But they've done it before, and with how low value this pick is, because think about it, there's only 31 first-round picks this year, right? So the value of these picks are already lower because there's only 31 first-round picks. Remember, the Dolphins have to forfeit their pick, so there's only 31 picks in the first round. So technically, pick the person that's picking 32nd overall, which is usually a first-round pick, is picking in the second round now, right? So the value of these picks are in flux this draft. Pick number 26, you're basically in the second round at that point, right? This is a 5 pick difference. So I would trade it if you can get a quality starting playmaker for those 26 overall pick, and maybe a third or something like that. Make the deal. Like I don't need. I went on this long rant when I first came up on here, man. They said we got 9 picks. Even if we trade our first, we'll be okay. Yeah. Because listen, there's no guarantee any of those picks can even come in here and contribute right off the bat. Like I know people love prospects because they have potential, but my uncles used to tell me, man, proper preparation prevents poor performance. If your preparation is putting all your eggs in one basket and hoping for guys that never played in the league before to come in and play championship level football out the gate, you're a fool, right? But if you're really trying to compete for a title, you got to properly prepare and put pieces in place so that they can produce at a high level for you, right? So if you're really out here trying to be in position to compete for a title, you need to be out here trying to find and secure the services of players that actually been in the league, right? And that you have a good track record of contributing to teams. In that's the end of the discussion, right? Because look at what happened with Jalen Tolbert, for example. Now I still think Jalen Tolbert can come in eventually, and he can be productive for us. I think Jalen Tolbert eventually will be a damn good wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. But right now, as of today, Jalen Tolbert was a top 100 pick that has done nothing in the NFL for you, right? And before the season, a lot of guys were putting all kinds of expectations and all kinds of pressure on him to perform right out of the gate. Because we did something stupid and let Amari Cooper go for a fifth round pick. So because we gutted our wide receiving core, we put the expectation on a third round rookie from South Alabama to come in and be prepared to contribute to a team trying to compete for a championship. That was stupid. That was one of the stupidest things that the Dallas Cowboys did this offseason. So instead of going about business like that, right, we need to go ahead and stock up on talent and be in a legitimate stance to try and make a run once we get into the playoffs. Right? You want Dak Prescott to play better, you need to give him better weapons. Right? Because I find it ironic the year that Dak Prescott broke his thumb and had subpar wide receiving help outside of CeeDee Lamb is the year that he had issues with interceptions, right? The one year that he had issues with interceptions is also the year he had a bad wide receiving core and a broken thumb, right? So to keep things like that from happening again, you improve the wide receivers around Dak Prescott. Dallas Cowboys were at the bottom of separation, right? That's why Dak Prescott was also at the top of close window throws. So tight window throws. I'm sorry. He was also at the top of tight window throws because hey, they weren't getting open. It's not like Dak Prescott was out there intentionally, putting the ball in harm's way. It's just these guys were not really getting open outside of CeeDee Lamb. Henny, you got a celebrity in the house. Jason Garrett, did he get fired? Welcome, coach. Hey, man, that's my boys, man. Brandon Carr for 5 years, 50 million before that. They need to do more. Yeah, like they don't really spend a lot of free agency. What do I think about Cyrus Torrance from Florida? I like to see him be a Cowboy. He's a dog. He's a mauler. He's great in the run game. He can get to the second level. He's very physical. He's strong. He actually has some pretty good fundamentals about himself too. I like him. I would definitely bring him in to be a Dallas Cowboy. If he's there at number 26, I would draft him. And Jason Garrett said this the wrong one. He ain't no clapper. I know that's right, man. Hey, this Jason Garrett said he ain't gonna watch the season go up in flames, man. He gonna do something about it. So yeah, what other moves would y'all want to see the Dallas Cowboys make? What do y'all think the big move would be? Since this rumor is floated around that the Dallas Cowboys are planning something phenomenal. Oh yeah, of course, Dwayne Brown. We all in here to have fun, talk Cowboys talk. It's all love, man. It's all love between everybody in this chat. But yeah, so what is the move y'all will see? Let's say the big move with the Dallas Cowboys making a trade, right? Who would y'all want the Dallas Cowboys to trade for and why? Put it in the comment box. Put it in the comment box. I want to know how y'all feeling about that little bit of news. And then after everybody give their opinions, give their wish list, then we're gonna segue into Big Mike McCarthy's comments about running the damn ball. So who y'all thinking about, man? Who do y'all want the Dallas Cowboys to trade for? Doesn't matter. You heard a trade rumor about them. Doesn't matter the position. Just go ahead, put it in the comment box, and we'll chop it up about the folks. All right, he said trade for Diggs or sign Payne. I definitely would trade for Diggs. It makes sense to put them together. And listen, they want to play. They want to play for each other. Trayvon Diggs was obviously not Trayvon, the Stephon. They named so similar. I almost botched that one. Yeah, Stephon Diggs was out on the sideline cussing his quarterback out. So I don't know if there's any bad blood there. I don't know if there's something they can get over. But if he wants to come to Dallas, which I think he do, I would trade for him. Dwayne Brown said trade for Brandon Cooks. I would still kick the tires on Brandon Cooks. So you got to think about it, man. Brandon Cooks not even 30 yet. Brandon Cooks has been in the league for a while, but he's only 29 years old. And listen, we were happy for T.Y. Hilton, who was 4 years older, to come in and contribute. So Brandon Cooks, despite the injury history, he's a 4-3 guy. He's a good route runner. He's explosive. And what I've been asking for, he's a veteran. He has played meaningful football. Remember, matter of fact, even though he was on the losing side of it both times. Brandon Cook has played in 2 Super Bowls. Brandon Cooks knows what it means to contribute in the postseason. Right? Because remember, he was on the Patriots. He was Tom Brady's number 1 receiver in 2017. He was injured during their first season of the Super Bowl against the Eagles. But Brandon Cooks is a guy that comes in and he contributes, man. Like he puts up numbers. He puts up numbers, man. And look, I know he's a little bit older, but he's only 1 year removed from his last 1,000-yard season. 2021, he had 1,037 yards, 6 touchdowns, right? Averaged 64.8 yards a game, had a catch percentage of 67.2. So I like him. It's a good pickup. It's a good pickup. And we have a medical staff that knows how to keep players healthy. So if he wants to come and be a Dallas Cowboy, I think we can keep him. I think we can keep him healthy. Listen, if you can keep Randall Cobb healthy, you can keep anybody healthy. Said Diggs ain't going nowhere. R. Diggs will go play with his brother before his brother come to us. That may be true, but we gotta keep hope alive, kinfolk. That may be true. And listen, if they work the contract out with the younger brother, if they get things lined out with Trayvon, then it's more of a possibility for for them to go out and trade for Stephon. But you can't be jerking around his little brother on contract talks, right? And posting what you post, things like that, and then expect the big brother to come in and be docile and just play. Nah, he gonna protect his brother. So if the Dallas Cowboys ain't gonna do Trayvon Diggs right, then I don't see Stephon coming over here. But they do work that out, make it happen. Make it happen because he's a good route runner. He's still explosive. He's still one of the better wide receivers in the National Football League. So if he was on the trading block, I'd make the move. But Dallas Cowboys gotta fix their in-house problems first, right? You can't have that contract with Trayvon just dangling in the air and then try to bring his brother in. That doesn't make sense. But if the Dallas Cowboys are smart, extending Trayvon Diggs and extending CeeDee Lamb does nothing to the cap really this year, right? Most of that money that they can get could be in a signing bonus that does not even go against the cap. So you can keep their cap hits relatively the same this season, right? And you worry about paying them and managing the cap down the line and still bring guys in, right? Because listen, it's not even the fact or the matter of trying to build a super team and keeping a super team together for multiple years, right? Oh, hold on, I got one. Hey, shout outs to Dwayne Brown for the $10 cash app, man. I appreciate you for the support, kinfolk. But yeah, man. But look at what the Eagles did. They built their Super Bowl roster in 2017. By 2019, they had to gut it, but they were able to put a Super Bowl team right back together by 2022. So it's not really about getting a dynasty team together like the 90s Cowboys did, because we haven't even won a championship in 27 years. So, we just need to try and win one title, right? Put that team together, go out there and put our best foot forward to actually compete. And then, we'll worry about managing the roster, rebuilding, and all that stuff down the line. Like, sometimes we got to cross that bridge when we cross that bridge. Everything that the Dallas Cowboys do cannot be planning for the future. Because if every move you make is planning for the future, you have no present. Wagner, 2 years, 16 million. Yeah. Matter of fact, don't even short him like that. You can do Bobby Wagner 2 years, $22 million, right? Like like $11 million for an All Pro linebacker, regardless of his age, because he was playing at an All Pro level just last year. It's money well spent. It's money well spent. But they did make some comments about LVE, about how he played well enough to play his way and stay in Dallas. So, I hope that that's not the final move that they decide to make. I would much prefer for them to go out and get a legitimate middle linebacker. As you all know, LVE by trade came into the NFL as a weak side linebacker. When he made his all pro team selection, he was a weak side linebacker. So, this year, him playing middle linebacker, he did decent, but he is playing out of position. Oh, hey, shout out to Dwayne Brown for the other $10 donation, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the love and support, kinfolk. Yeah, $22 million a year is fine for the services that you're getting from him, man. Like, he is dope. He is dope as a player. Like, he's too good of a player, man. Hey, Darren, what's up with you, man? I appreciate you for tapping in with me. But yeah, like that's easy money. That's easy money. Cause listen, we wanted to go out and get, what's the boy that just got traded from Chicago? Like, we wanted to go out and get him, and he basically reset the market. He making $20+ million a year. I'm not mistaken, as a middle linebacker. Oh, hey, Roshan Smith. We wanted to go out and get Roshan Smith, and he just reset the market. As a middle linebacker, and we would have had to give up draft capital for him. Oh yeah, hey Matt, like Ezekiel Elliott still has value, because you remember we did the entire show, right? We broke down Ezekiel Elliott. We broke down that majority of the negative runs were not on him. I still think that he would be he's going to be a Dallas Cowboy. I think he can contribute. But we were talking about the two first round running backs, because that was the comment that Stephen Jones made. Stephen Jones said he wouldn't mind taking a running back in the first round. So, with those two being the only first round running backs worth looking at, we broke them down based on those comments. But I still think Ezekiel Elliott can contribute. But best player available. If one of those guys are there and they happen to be the best player available, you still draft them, right? You still bring them in. Because listen, just like Big Mike said, he wants to run the damn ball. Well, if you want to run the damn ball that badly, right? If you want to run the ball that damn badly, then you can go out and get as many running backs as you want. There is no, especially since they are probably going to restructure Ezekiel Elliott. There's no reason for you not to bring in as many players that want to play for you, right? You can bring in as much premium talent you want at all positions. Like, you can't, like, there's no such thing as having too many good players at any position, right? You cannot have enough good running backs. You cannot have enough good tight ends. You cannot have enough good wide receivers. We think about it from that mindset. Like, it doesn't even matter. Just bring in as much people as you want. If our old line trash, we can't run the ball. That's it. Yeah, that is true. But our old line was not bad at run blocking until the injury to Terrence Steele, right? So I always got the numbers for stuff like that. So let me pull that up, and I'll show you the decline in the offensive line once Terrence Steele went out the lineup. Now, I do think that we need to address the offensive line, especially with them wanting to keep Tyron Smith, on the roster. I know I have questions about Tyron Smith's availability throughout the course of a 17-game season, since he only played 3 games for me this year and over the cumulative 3 years. He's only played 17 for me altogether. So, I wasn't as thrilled as some people were with the news. They wanted to retain Tyron Smith, but it is what it is. We are in a pickle in regards to offensive line play. Terrence Steele is injured. You do not know the level of play you will get from him if we bring him back. All signs are pointing that we will bring him back, but the drop off was definitely in our old line, not in our running backs, like everyone says. Yeah, like we did a whole show on it, man. And listen, landlord was down on Zeke, and by the end of that show, man, like he had a little bit more faith in him, right? He had a little bit more grace for the boy. Now listen, it didn't absolve him of everything, but everybody has negative plays. Or a pass pro is sus. I wouldn't mind a guard and call it a day. Yeah, and that's what I say about the draft. Like all these key things that we're talking about getting and doing, like we named a couple things. We talked about pass pro. We talked about the ability for our line to run block. Right. We were talking about wide receiver earlier. We were talking about all these different positions. And we didn't even talk about cornerback yet, right? Because we still need a second corner outside of Trayvon Diggs. Right. So there's a lot of needs that we are not going to be able to satisfy just in the draft alone. So that's why I'm big on getting grown men that are already suitable to handle the job to come in, and you can have more faith in them, right? I would prefer to go out and get somebody like Bobby Wagner than to go out and draft a kid who has potential. Because Bobby Wagner's being a starting middle linebacker on two teams that made it to Super Bowl, made all the All Pro selections. He's a certified baller. So like I have no questions about what I will get from Bobby Wagner, but I will have 100 questions about the kid I bring in. So that's the mindset that I use. When I talk about the draft and I talk about free agency. Free agency to me is always more important for competing that year. Like the draft is the build for the future. You bring these guys along at whatever pace they can come along. Some guys will be ready the first year. Some guys might not be ready until the final year of their rookie contract to actually contribute. So I don't want to put that much burden on kids, man. I don't want to put that much burden on kids. So go out there and address these key positions of need, with vets. Osiris better have his weight down. Now, see, I ain't tripping about Osiris's weight, right? Because he's not a tackle anyway, right? So I don't need him to be graceful. Like really, for what we're going to ask for this boy to do, be a big nasty mauler, choke folks out in the middle, right? He could be a fat slob. Now, if his weight affects his play on the football field, then that's different. But I need somebody with some bricks in their pants, man, to hold down the middle of the defense. I mean, the middle of the offensive line. Wagner, Patrick Peterson, Les Rowe. I could see that. And look, I like Patrick Peterson. He actually had high grades across the board this season. I know he's like 100 years old, but the numbers are what the numbers are with players. No, it's the same reason I don't mind bringing Bobby Wagner in. He said his body won't hold up. Probably down the line it won't hold up, right? Because there's a lot of things. And we are talking about a 23-year-old kid. I think he's only like 23, 22, something like that. Like down the line, like I think that will matter. But like the first year out, I don't think so because he played through college at that same weight. Or not, if I don't remember. He said, "Oh, so Jason Garrett said he's down to 337, down to 337. How fat was this boy? How big was this boy? If he's down if he's down to 337, how big was he being reported as weighing before? Help me out with that. My boy over here that's trapping the vibranium. Uh, how much did this man weigh? If he lost weight and is still 337 pounds, how big was this boy? Now that is sort of heavy. Yeah, I'm about to misspoke. That is sort of heavy. almost three. Damn, God dog. Yeah, that's defensive tackle weight right there. Yeah, 360, 350. So he lost 20 pounds. If they give LVE a contract, Wagner might be out. I hope not. I definitely would much prefer Bobby Wagner over Leighton Vandress, right? Because if you move on for LVE, you're not missing that much. He's better as a weak side linebacker, and you have better athletes with less of an injury history out there, right? Because Damone Clark is a better athlete than LVE is. He since he came back from his one injury, he's been healthy, right? He has a high motor, you know, he read and react, and the boy clocked like 20 plus miles per hour, to get a tackle in one of these games. So he has speed. He has sideline to sideline speed. So I, I prefer to have Bobby Wagner in the middle of the defense, coaching up these young guys, giving them that all pro veteran leadership that they can't really get from LVE. Not saying that LVE is not a former all pro, not saying that he's not a good veteran, but Bobby Wagner's better. We need to go with 4 running backs this season and maybe 1 fullback. Yeah, Damone Clark faster after the surgery. Yeah, that is crazy, man. Yeah, Damone Clark be out there moving. And hey, Coach Marr, I'm glad you brought that up because this is the perfect time. Yeah, this is the perfect time to go ahead and segue, man. We're gonna segue into the comments that Mike McCarthy made about wanting to run the damn ball. And I'm going to read this verbatim, right? I'm just going to read it word for word what the quote was. Then we're just going to analyze it, break it down, and we're going to get everybody's opinions on the subject matter, right? So let me get that pulled up real quick. Let's see. I'm fine with LVE or Wagner. We need good wide receiver too. Yeah, there's so many options at wide receiver, man. Like it makes no sense to neglect that, right? Because if you want to be cheap, DJ Chark is still an upgrade for your wide receiving core, right? Jerry Judy is on the trade block. There's a ton of good wide receivers in this year's draft, right? LVE is not the one. The market will tell the story on LVE. Yeah, man. Like I like LVE, but I don't like LVE enough to not sign Bobby Wagner when he's just sitting there. And LVE is not a true middle linebacker. So I need that legitimacy. I need somebody that's been breaking down and analyzing opposing offenses at a high level for years. He said, "Hey, landlord, a upgrade for cornerback wide receiver." Hey, man. Hey, my boy might be able to get out there and get you a couple first downs, bro. All right, so this is the word for word Mike McCarthy, quote. I want Cooks or D Hop, good fit for us. Yeah, I definitely would take Brandon Cooks. I always say I'm not concerned about guys with injury histories because we have not missed. Like they be having that sound bite. Like he does not miss. But we ain't missed out on bringing these guys in with injuries. We have not missed yet, right? We got the most we could get out of LVE. Came in with a neck injury for the most part. We got good production out of him. Jalen Smith came in with nerve damage. We got this boy, to get up to a Pro Bowl level. Started for us. Is still starting in the NFL, right? Got a revival year out of Randall Cobb, right? We kept Malik Hooker healthy, right? All these different guys that have been coming in with these injury histories, they've been healthy for us. And that the Dallas, and listen, the Dallas area is one of the most advanced areas in the country, in terms of sports science and medicine, right? You have an award winning, but why are we recruiting hurt modes? Hey, Lee, this is the thing. Like when you can sign somebody that's constantly hurt, but they have a high upside, right? You get more bang for your buck because when a player is injured, they're not going to get market value usually, right? So they have to sign a lot of prove it deals. So that's the same thing that happened with Malik Hooker. Malik Hooker used to be a former first round pick, and he's a great player when he's healthy. The issue was he was never healthy with his other team. The Dallas Cowboys went and signed him, picked him up because we have such a good medical staff. He's been able to stay healthy for us the past 2 seasons, and you got pretty good return on that little bit of money that you spent, right? So with that said, the Dallas Cowboys have done this a lot. They've done this a lot because they went out and got Jalen Smith. People forget Jalen Smith would have been a top 10 pick had he not had that nerve injury. So we went out and got a player who had a top 10, a top 10 prospect grade on him, right, in the second round. And once he came back, we kept him healthy. He made a Pro Bowl team. He led our team in tackles several seasons. So when things like that happen, the Dallas Cowboys have gotten good return on their investments, right? So I know a lot of people don't like Jalen Smith, but you got Pro Bowl, you got a Pro Bowl linebacker in the second round, right? So with that return, you got your money's worth. Randall Cobb, you had a guy who had multiple injury riddled years. You got a guy who had almost 1,000 yards for you in the 1 year that he did play. He had over 800 yards, and had he not missed time, because I think he had like a concussion or something. If he had not missed time, he would have went over 1,000 yards, and you did not pay that much to bring Randall Cobb into the building. So that's why the Dallas Cowboys always take these risks on guys with injuries, right? Because they hit, right? It's just like people that be jacking up threes at the court, right? Like they jack up a bunch of threes, but nobody says anything about them jacking them threes when they hit them. It's when they out here missing the rim, not going over the backboard. That's when people speak about that. Eternal Dynasty said that something big is another endorsement deal. They don't care about making power moves on the field. I pray not, bro. I pray not. It doesn't really matter to me who they pick as a free agent receiver. I would like them to be good enough to be a number one in case of injury. And listen, that is a nice way to put it. At the bare minimum, right, you have to at least shorten the gap in between CeeDee Lamb and the rest of the wide receivers, right? Because if anything were to happen to CeeDee Lamb, bro, like think about this. If CeeDee Lamb had got injured at all last year, we would have ran out there the first part of the season with an injured Michael Gallup and Noah Brown as your two outside receivers. That is not good. Because remember, 2021, you still expected to win games without Amari Cooper. Because even if like when Amari Cooper was out, right, you still had CeeDee Lamb, you still had Michael Gallup, and you still had Cedric Wilson. Right? So you had great depth at the wide receiver position. You could survive without Amari Cooper for maybe a week. Right? But now, like, you're so depleted at wide receiver, and any injury to the wide receiving core is almost fatal for the offense. Especially with us, moving towards this West Coast offense. But hey, I got distracted. I was supposed to be reading y'all this quote about Big Mike McCarthy. All right. So this is Mike McCarthy word for word. I've been where Kellen has been. Kellen wants to light the scoreboard up, but I want to run the damn ball so I can rest my defense. I think when you're a coordinator, but you're in charge of the offense. Being a head coach and being a play caller, you're a little more in tune with everything. I don't desire the number one offense in the league. I want to be the number one team in the league with a number of wins and a championship. And if we got to give up some production and take care of the ball better to get that, then that's what we'll do because we have a really good defense. End quote. So you know what, man? I like that, right? Because nobody cares. Listen, and we had the number one offense with Dak Prescott under center, right, since 2019. 2019, we went 8-8. 2020, Dak Prescott only played 5 games, but in the 5 games that he played, we were only 2-3. 2021, we put up a bunch of points. We won 12 games. We could not score any points when it mattered against the San Francisco 49ers. This year, when Dak Prescott was on the center, we were again the number one offense in the National Football League. But we all saw that when the rubber had to meet the road, we could not score points at the volume we were scoring points earlier. So with that said, right, I completely agree with Mike McCarthy. We've seen us be the number one offense in the National Football League, and it has led to nothing. It has led to early playoff exits, missing the playoffs, good stats, no wins, right? And that usually what happens when you try and run this track beat style of offense. Your defense is constantly on the field. You're losing the time possession battle, right? Things like that, in the microcosm of things matter. Killing, catching strays, leave that white boy alone. Man, listen, I like it. I support that. Yeah, Michael H. I support that too. Because listen, it was not Kellen Moore's overall, play calling that got him in trouble. It was his situational play calling more than anything, right? Just like we saw at the end of the Jacksonville Jaguars game. We do not even go into overtime if he just decides to run the ball and make the Jacksonville Jaguars use their last timeouts, right? Because remember, yeah, he hardly ever played with CD Lamb until 2021. Because they only had 5 games together in 2020, right? So hey, so that's what I'm looking at, right? Because if we get the production we need, from our running backs, and we can keep our defense fresh, like he mentioned, we have a amazing defense that can get after the quarterback, that can cause turnovers and things like that. We get to playing complementary football, we'll be fine. But yeah, but like it was Kellen Moore situational play calling that got us in trouble. Like in the playoff game, it was 2nd and 1 in the red zone, right? You get the ball, to start the second half. You had one. This was one of the rare opportunities in National Football League where you could double up, right? Instead of running the ball, right, on 2nd and 1, we went empty set, shotgun. Dak Prescott ended up throwing an interception, right? There was a bunch of things that happened on that play. CeeDee Lamb got rerouted on the option route. Dak Prescott forced the ball. None of those things I mentioned prior would have happened if we were not in position to throw the ball, right? So, situational play calling, is not Kellen Moore's strong suit, right? I already mentioned what happened in the Jacksonville game. We do not even go into overtime if he forces them to run, use their last couple of timeouts by running the ball. So, like he put us in situations to lose multiple games just by a couple of bad play selections that he made. Hey, Stephen White, what's up with you, man? I appreciate you tapping in with me, brother. Hey, Chris Not Our Cowboy, man, what's up with you, brother? So yeah, his situational play calling was horrible because you have to incorporate the running backs, or I'm pro run the ball even with the quarterback, right? Henry Kellen did not know how to use player skill sets, young tight ends, or a fast kick returner, and Tolbert. He did not. He did not. Right. So I expect guys that are already on this roster to have a better impact going forward. I believe that Mike McCarthy is going to utilize somebody like Jalen Tolbert. He has decent size, he has decent speed, right? He was a big play wide receiver in college. So, I think in the right system that can translate. Turpin runs a dang 4-2. There is no way there's no way that Turpin could have went to the Kansas City Chiefs and him not be utilizing that offense, right? So, I think there are areas in improvement from a personnel standpoint, right? There's areas in improvement from a situational play calling standpoint. So, I'm all for Mike McCarthy being the play caller. And listen, Mike McCarthy deserves the right to be the play caller. right? And he said we never set plays up, just ran random plays and see what worked. Yep, that's pretty much the calling card of Kellen Moore's offense. He even said not in not so many words the same thing, right? Because they try to adapt to what the defense gives them and try to aggressively take that. Just wanted to see the Cowboys win Super Bowl of my lifetime, too, double R. It's going to happen, Matt. I promise you it's going to happen. It is going to happen. Kellen is smart but predictable and couldn't adapt in game. Yeah, I agree with that, too, right? And listen, I'm going to read a stat for you that I just seen, and I'm going to let y'all, I'm going to let y'all tell me what y'all think about this, right? Let me see if I'll get it pulled back up. Let me see if I can get this pulled back up real quick. Rumors saying front office got something big planned. Yeah, Eli, we just talked about that. I have no earthly idea what that could mean, right? I'm hoping they trade for a marquee player. I hope they trade for either a marquee wide receiver or trade for a good run stopping defensive tackle or trade for a great middle linebacker or something. I want them to make a splash play. A true run game coordinator will help the run blocking success also, Henny. Yeah, we actually have one on the roster now. I don't know if he's really gonna be that have that much input in it, but that's something that we did not have before. We do have a run game coordinator, under contract on the coaching staff right now. So that is a good sign. So this is from Mina Kimes, right? So this is something that's crazy but true. This year, when the Dallas Cowboys passed on first down, they had the second highest down set conversion rate in the NFL, behind only the Kansas City Chiefs. When they ran on first down, they were only 22nd, right? So what that stat says is like when the Dallas Cowboys decided to run on first down, they usually did not convert, for another first down, right? Because they were only 22nd in the league. But when they passed on first down, right, they converted at the second highest rate in the National Football League. Now that does not mean to get out there and go pass happy, because one of the reasons I believe that stat, right, one of the reasons that I believe that stat, is what it is because of you know not having too much versatility in the run plays that we did call on first down, right? Most of the time when we call a run play on first down, it's a halfback dive right up the middle into the teeth of the defense, right? Now, you already know there's more to the run game than just a simple dive, right? There's stretch plays, there's toss plays, there's the quarterback keeper, there's there's the the sweep, there's the wide receiver sweep. There's all different kind of looks, right, that you can give for runs on first down that do not include running your quarterback. Running your running back up the middle of the defense where they're the most stout at, right? And we all saw what Kellen Moore did. Like he was just banging Ezekiel Elliott into the middle of the defense. There was not a lot of versatility, in the run game, right? And when you think about the guys that you had up front most of the season, you had Connor McGovern and you had Tyler Biotis in the middle of the defense. So on that side, trying to do a halfback dive up the middle on that side of the defense, get that up that side of the offensive line, was probably not productive that much. So I'm not saying that the Dallas Cowboys should get away from running the ball, but you do need to have more versatility on first downs. Like if you want to run the ball on first down, it does not have to be a halfback dive up the middle, right? You can do you like even if you show pass, you can do a quarterback draw, right? You can do an option play, right? You can give them a sweep. You can send the wide receiver around on the end around, right? Speed option. There are other effective runs that you can do outside of a halfback dive on first down, right? You can show so much and be so much more creative in the run game on first down to give these drives a better chance of succeeding, right? So, And listen, sometimes you do need to change it up, right? Sometimes you can't run it on first down every time. You have to have some kind of you have to have some kind of curveball, right? But you just have to be mindful of trying to get that first down. Then you can get into a rhythm, you can get into a flow of the game, and then the play calling gets easier, right? You open up the defense to more looks, more things they have to see, more things they have to defend. It gets better as the drive goes on, but you have to get that first down. And in order to get that first down, you have to win on first down. Carl Whitten, you are absolutely right. Kellen Moore beat himself out of a job. It's no reason we shouldn't have been in the Super Bowl this year, and Philly lost their OC because they did exactly what Kellen did. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. They got too cute. They got too cute. And when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they outrushed them and won the game. Now the running backs, not a single running back went over 80 yards or nothing, but Patrick Mahomes, contributed in the run game. Right, they rushed for I think over 150 yards, so I'm not mistaken. You have to be creative with difficult plays from the same formation. Yeah, I believe that. I wholeheartedly believe that. You can't just listen. It was so stale. Just run up the middle. And I've seen guys scheme up explosive runs. I've seen guys scheme up creative runs. Right. Look no further than the San Francisco 49ers. They are a very run heavy team, run centric team, and it's not halfback dive up the middle with them. Right. It's not halfback dive up the middle. So if and I don't think Mike McCarthy is the guy that's going to have to go and study Kyle Shanahan or anything like that. I think he has some versatility in his offense. It's probably going to be Brian Schottenheimer's scheme anyway, and he's already a very run dominant guy. So I think we're on the right track with that. But yeah, it makes sense for Mike McCarthy to want to run the ball. It makes sense, especially if we're not able to fix our run defense. So the way to prevent teams from running on you is to run the score up to a point and keep them off the field, right? So if you're running the ball against the team, when are they gonna have time to run the ball against you? I believe Mike McCarthy was throwing shade at Kellen Moore when he said, as an assistant, you call runs after the head coach said run. He used to call plays just to get them off his play sheet. And yeah, and I don't even think that's shade because Kellen Moore more or less said the same thing himself, right? He had a quota to reach for run plays, and he called them begrudgingly, right? He did not want to run that much. He said so himself in an interview. So he half-heartedly called these run plays. That's why I don't think there was a lot of versatility, in the run game with Kellen Moore. I don't think he put that much effort into it. Not to say he didn't put that much effort in trying to the game plan, but like it is what it is. Like he's gone now. He's in a new situation. More power to him. But I'm rocking with Big Mike. And they said it was Big Mike McCarthy's decision to move on from Killer Moore. So Big Mike got that boy whack. All right, hey, Big Mike put the hit out, and Jerry Jones had tears in his eyes when he greenlit that boy. So yeah, I like the decision by Mike McCarthy to say he wants to run the ball. I like the decision by Mike McCarthy to want to play calling responsibilities. If you got to go out, man, you got to go out on your own accord. You got to go out on your own accord, and he's doing that. It makes sense for Mike McCarthy to want Kellen Moore gone because of not understanding run scheme, which is key to the success of the West Coast offense. Yeah, yes, it is. And look no further than the Los Angeles Rams, right? Because people always talk about their West Coast offense, their passing game, them putting up points. But like the scheme that they run, everything starts with the stretch run play, right? Everything starts with the stretch run, and then the play action off the stretch, like with the flood concepts behind it. So like running is very important. Kellen gonna make sure Justin get close to 6,000 yards. Yes, he's gonna have close to 6,000 yards. And they're gonna like an 8 and 9 team, 7 and 10 team. If he has to pass for 6,000 yards, they're not winning a lot of games. Because remember, Dak Prescott, and it's funny you say that. Before Dak Prescott got injured in 2020, he was on pace to pass for 6,000 yards, which would have been an NFL record. I'm happy for you getting new Mike, Big Mike getting new system. Let's win Super Bowl in the next few years. I totally agree, man. I appreciate you, Kinfolk. Cowboy Nation, don't forget to hit the like button, fellas. Thanks. Yes, indeed, man. I appreciate y'all. So yeah, while you're in here, please hit the like button. If you have not already shared, shoot, don't even worry about that, Coach Mar. Here you go. And bam, you're a standard moderator, Kinfolk. Welcome to the Wrench Game. Welcome to the Wrench Game, Coach. So yeah, man. I definitely believe, you know, and listen, there's so much things that the run game opens up for the passing game, right? Think about the play action sets that we have. Dak Prescott is one of the best quarterbacks off of play action, and then Kellen Moore's offense. We were like middle of the pack and running play action, which made no sense, right? So you can't really say that Kellen Moore was running a very quarterback friendly offense when he was not doing a lot of the things that your quarterback was good at. Your quarterback is great at play action. He's one of the top quarterbacks in that aspect in doing that. And we were middle in the pack in running play action. Your quarterback had the most rushing touchdowns in franchise history, and they had him rarely ever running the ball in the red zone. So I think it was time for us to move on. We went as far as we were going to be able to go with Kellen Moore as the play caller, but we just have to be consistent, right? So all eyes were on Mike McCarthy now. It's a gift and a curse, right? Because if he does get us over the hump, he can get the credit for it. But there is no more scapegoat, right? Right. We all used to throw Kellen Moore on the bus. So Big Mike McCarthy, if your offense does not look any better, if you are not able to consistently win games or win the games that matter with your offense, that's going to be on you. It's going to be on you, Kinfolk. Kellen was the winningest quarterback in college history. Don't sleep on him. Yeah, I don't sleep on him. Listen, he's a very young guy. His first time ever being an offensive coordinator was with us, so he was doing on-job training basically. But he's going to develop as a play caller down the line. One day he might develop to the play caller that everybody thinks he is right now, because they will call him a golden boy, a genius and all this other stuff. He's not that yet. He has potential, but he has not made it there yet in his evolution as a play caller. That is fine. He's no longer our problem. Now we got Big Mike McCarthy, who has a track record of being a good play caller. They were a top 10 offense in Green Bay for 8 consecutive seasons with him as the play caller. They won a Super Bowl with him as the play caller. So his pedigree is, you don't have to even speak on that. It's untouchable. I don't need double R. Still got support HTM sports in the future. Appreciate the support double R. Oh yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah, I appreciate the love support you always give, Kinfolk. You said you hope D Hop or Cooks at wide receiver. I definitely would take either one of them. Cause listen, we do not actually need somebody better than CD Lamb. There's not nobody that fits that bill on the open market anyway. But we need somebody that can be better than Michael Gallup, and at the very least, they need to be better than Noah Brown. Right? They need to be better than Noah Brown and what T.Y. Hilton gave us. McCarthy offense may not look better in the regular season, but better in the playoffs. Yeah, and listen, at the end of the day, as long as we are winning the games, right? Listen, this fan base fell in love with Cooper Rush, right? Completing 53% of his passes and scoring one touchdown a game. So if that's all it takes, right? If that's all that it takes for people to accept the quarterback, then y'all need to let Dak Prescott have that same leeway. As long as we win the game, he only need to throw for a touchdown. That's the same love they gave Cooper Rush. So I'm fine with it. I don't need us to score. I don't need us to average 30 points. I need us to win like 14, 15 games this year. I need it to be 15-2 or 14-3 or something. so we can get that number one overall seed. We don't need someone better, but it would sure be nice to have someone faster. Yeah, I definitely would love to have a wide receiver with some explosiveness. That's why I keep bringing up DJ Shark. Like I'm higher on him than West Coast is, but I like DJ Shark because of his speed. He's 6'4", runs a 4.3. He is a former Pro Bowl wide receiver, even though that Pro Bowl selection was going on 4 years ago. I like that idea, but that's a huge cap hit for Bills Hoodlum. Yeah, I would like bringing in Stephon too, right? But like I said earlier, you can't bring in Stephon if you don't take care of Trayvon, right? So yeah, you got to get the Trayvon Diggs situation lined out well before you even think about bringing in his big brother, because his big brother ain't gonna play that. Like big brother ain't gonna play that. Like you got to take care of his little brother. So yeah, you don't we don't really want them problems. HTM, let's face this. We have won 5 rings all 5 times. We had a top 10 defense. We must have an elite. Yeah, that's true. And I think that we have a roster. They can be another. I think we have a roster of talent that could be another top 10 defense. We were a top 10 defense last year, right? The only thing we had issues in was stopping the run. And I think with a couple of free agent signings, like if we are able to go out and get a better defensive tackle, if we are able to draft a little bit better, then we might have a top 3 defense, right? We still have the same pass rushers. We will probably have better defensive back play. So we have the ability to be better at those spots. But yeah, man. So hey, I've been on the show for a little bit over an hour at this point, man. I appreciate all of y'all for tapping in, rocking with your boy, showing love to me. I'm gonna try and go live later on. Give y'all a little bit more content, and just let me know what y'all want to talk about. I'll still read the comments after I get off the live. Y'all drop what y'all want to talk about next show on here, and I will happily oblige y'all, man. So hey, I appreciate y'all for rocking with your boy. Y'all be blessed. I will get at y'all later on. Peace. Oh, thank you, Carl. I